Unreal. My thoughts on Unreal. Did it expose and hurt the business? No. I know a lot of people feel like, how, Sway? Bro, did y'all just figure out what YouTube was? Did y'all just figure out what YouTube was? How many damn years have we seen endless channels, wrestling channels, expose the secrets of professional wrestling? So, what did the WWE really show you that exposed it any more than what these YouTube channels have done? They are low budgeted wrestling docuseries about exposing the business years ago. I mean, exposing how the moves work, what the referee does. All Dirty Unreal did was confirm a lot of those things a lot of us already knew. A lot of us already knew the referee had a lot to do with everything. The only thing I really didn't know was the referee was basically calling the match on a lot of levels. I knew they kept up with the time. I knew they would tell you, hey, the crowd ain't feeling this. You gotta go home. I didn't know they were calling moves, telling the guys, hey, do this or do that. I thought that was the wrestlers. I know the wrestlers do call the moves and they go over their matches, but I didn't know the referee and the people in the back are telling the referee what they want them to do. That's the part I didn't know. And then the gorilla position. I didn't really know about the gorilla position. I always thought it was just the boss watching everything. That's all I thought it was. I had no idea that basically everything goes down there. So really, Unreal didn't expose really nothing we didn't really know. And me personally, if it did for you, hey, that's you. It didn't make me less of a fan. When I've been finding out about wrestling secrets or the blading, the everything, it made me even more interested in professional wrestling. It didn't make me look at it any different. Because this is why I say wrestling is the realest shit on TV, because it's not hiding the fact that it's predetermined. It's not hiding it. It never told you, hey, this is real. It never told you that. It's not insult your intelligence. If the only people that think this is real are children and people that are illiterate. It's that simple. You can tell as a grown-up or even a young teenager, this is not a real fight. Who the fuck does Hudo Karadas in a fight? It's common sense. It's just a different art form of entertainment. And they're just using their bodies. They're acting, etc. You know all the rest. But let's talk about what else Unreal exposed. Unreal really exposed Triple H's modern day clique. If you don't know anything about the inside wrestling of years ago in the 90s, Triple H was a part of this inside group that was never on television, but part of this inside group called the Clique. Scott Hall, Kevin Nash, Shawn Michaels, Sean Waltman, aka X-Pac, Triple H. These guys were the Clique. I think Just Incredible was cool with them on certain levels, but he didn't have what they had. He never got. I think he was just cool with somebody in that position, right? I might be wrong about that, but the way Just Incredible turned out down the line. But anywho, the Clique, right? These guys was running things in the back, behind the scenes. This is before the internet. This is before all that really started to take over professional wrestling. Way before. This is, I want to say, between 93 to maybe 96. Because I think that's when Hall and Nash left. So, they were running amok. That was the true definitions of the prisoners was running the asylum. They were in Vince McMahon's ear. telling them what they wanted. What they wanted to do, who they wanted to work with. I mean, Sean, man, what? He got some stories. He didn't want to give up championships. He only wanted to work with his friends, etc. Right? Triple H is a part of that. So you got to think. Triple H has that mindset of, if you're in my bubble, I'ma fuck with you. The only bad part, he's literally in charge of people's careers. And he has that mindset to this day. Unreal exposed who's a part of his clique. Think about it. Who's on Unreal showing you the real struggles? Jey Uso was showing you a struggle of becoming a singles guy. He was the only one that really looked like he was struggling, because he was not used to being a singles guy. And Triple H was on his ass about gassing out before the match and all the other shit, right? So, but that was like the only like hardship of that whole docuseries, which to me personally, I think Unreal is very entertaining. I enjoyed it. I watched it like twice now. I'm probably gonna watch it again. It was good, great shit. I thought it was dope. But it really exposed Triple H's favorites, man. That's all it was about. His favorites. People that he is choosing, his pet projects, like a Jey Uso, that's a pet project. People that he could control the momentum of, he could write the narrative for. Because if you notice, LA Knight was a cameo. You didn't have an interview with LA Knight talking about, hey, frustrations and this and that and the third, because he's clearly not one of his favorites. You didn't have Carmelo Hayes. You didn't have, Otis, somebody that's like clearly not one of his favorites. You didn't have none of them having an interview. But you seen Damian Priest, who he made a world champion. You seen Rhea Ripley all over the place. Charlotte, CM Punk. You know what I mean? Tiffany. You seen all the people that he likes and who he wants to be the guys and the girls. You clearly seen it. Now, Roman is not one of his favorites. You may think he is. Roman is somebody he has no choice but to deal with. Because Roman moves too much merch. Roman is a draw in today's time. He has no choice but to deal with Roman. Right? Cena, same thing. Yeah, this doesn't mean he doesn't favor them in a certain light. But he's not one of their favorites. He's not one of their main focuses. Because if he was, why Roman has not been world champion or been put in the world title picture? He's been put in meaningless situations that don't mean nothing. They may elevate the situation because he's Roman, but they haven't done anything of meaning with Roman in quite a while. Tell me when they have. Exactly. Roman's barely ever around to even do anything. He don't do shit. But Unreal exposed a few things, but it confirmed a lot of things a lot of us already knew as far as the inside. Like I said earlier, there's been plenty of low-budgeted wrestling documentaries exposing the business. And then there's been plenty of YouTubers. Maven, you ever heard of his TV? You ever heard his YouTube channel? He's exposing how wrestlers get paid, how they do all types of shit. So, what's the problem? To me, Unreal was not a problem. I've seen so much exposure of the wrestling business over the years. Unreal didn't do nothing. It didn't do nothing different. It didn't expose just everything is out the closet, bro. Everything. So it's like, what more could they expose at this point? All they showed us was the most taboo for some, and it was for me as well, was the backstage on them literally sitting back there and coming up with ideas. That was the only thing that was like, wow, they went that far. But when I thought about it, I'm like, bro, okay. At this point, it's like, Everything is exposed, bro. We're in the internet age. Everything's in 4K. There's cameras everywhere. Cameras are capturing things. I'm sure cameras which it didn't capture. But that's what they're there for, to capture everything. Ring doorbells are capturing shit I'm sure they wish they never captured. But glad it's there. Cameras are everywhere. So, I mean, how can you be completely sacred anymore with kayfabe? How? The new kayfabe is just working the internet. That's what they're doing with the Karrion Kross situation. Possibly. Just throw everybody off. You know? But Unreal, I guess it's supposed to be a part 2, so I guess it might be by 2026 we might see the rest of 2025, because they basically showed you the beginning of 2025 and all the other shit. So that, I guess that's what it's going to be. But it's really just exposed Triple H's ego and his nepotism, his favoritism. And I just think that's not good for the business. Instead of him trying to capitalize on using everyone he possibly can at his best ability, we clearly see who's the stars and who he wants to use. We clearly see. Some of his favorites wasn't probably on TV. I mean, on the Unreal that much. You did see Seth Rollins, you know, but it was just a lot of Triple H stroking. That's all it was. Because he be stroking to the east, he be stroking to the west. Triple H be stroking. Don't. You know, his ego. You gotta, you know. But, one more thing before I end this. Triple H is a liar about John Cena's heel turn, and John Cena, he said John Cena's writing his own chapter. Listen, man, he just don't want to take full blame for John Cena's shitty heel run. That's all it is. Because on Unreal, you're on fucking film talking about you wanted to turn John Cena heel, bro. So what are you talking about? And let's say it is John Cena's whole idea of this shitty run. This is clearly why you do not let the inmates run the asylum. But no, Triple H can get away with doing exactly the same shit y'all complain about Tony Khan. That's that picking and choosing. How isn't Triple H an incompetent fucking idiot for letting John Cena put that bullshit, 5 to 6 months of bullshit, on TV? Right? He's saying this is John Cena, right? This is all him. Okay, so Triple H don't take the blame for being a fucking jackass for letting that bullshit on TV? None of it made sense. We never got any explanations for anything. Since the beginning to the end, nothing was explained. And then you're on Unreal talking about, I wanted to, surround this with Travis Scott. What the fuck was you thinking? Why would Travis Scott be the center of attention for a John Cena heel turn? For the love of God, please, how did that make any level of sense, bro? And we see how that turned out with Travis Scott. Straight up. And I understand on a business note, it was cross-promotion. I get that part. I'm not an idiot. But why the fuck would he be the center of attention of a John Cena heel turn, bro? Why? So, this is Triple H's fault just as much as it is John Cena's fault. But Tony Khan's an idiot. He just let them do whatever he want. Okay, Triple H just let John Cena do whatever the fuck he want. What's the difference? Stop picking and choosing. Because you like Triple H. So he can't make no mistakes when he's clearly making mistakes. That's all I really want to say with that. Y'all the same people who call Tony Khan an idiot. He's not a boss. He just let them have full creative control. Didn't he just basically tell you John Cena got full creative control? If that's the case. And John Cena's heel turn was the worst heel turn in fucking history. But Triple H don't get no ridicule. He don't get criticized for being a fucking idiot for letting that dumb shit on TV. We never got an explanation why he turned heel. Never got an explanation why he turned face. You have to be brain dead to really think that was a great run. You have to be, bro. You got to be a child or something, or fucking illiterate. You could not been watching Rise of the 10 Plus and you really thought that was a good run. There's no way you really believe that. So Unreal exposed a lot of things. What do you think? What was y'all thoughts on Unreal? My thoughts, I thought Unreal was very entertaining. And like I said, with Triple H. But what do y'all think it is? Like, share, subscribe, dislike all the good shit. We are out.